Good morning and Sairam to all the students. Welcome back in your social science history class. So student, as in our previous session, we had already covered two topics of the chapter Kingdoms, Kings and an Early Republic. So now one more time I am showing you the content line of this chapter, how some men became rulers, Varnas, Janpadas, Mahajanpadas, taxes, changes in agriculture, a closer look Magdhavaji, elsewhere Greeks and Athens. So this topic, how some men became ruler and Varnas, we had already covered in our last session. Today we are going to cover next three topics, that is Janpadas, Mahajanpadas and taxes. So in this session what we are going to study about Janpadas, Mahajanpadas and taxes. So let's start our today's class. Here is our first topic of today's session, Janpadas. The Raja who performed big sacrifices were recognized as Raja of Janpadas. Janpadas means the land where the Jana set its foot and settled down. So basically in previous time the area is divided into small Janpadas, and the Raja who had performed the big sacrifice, now he is known as the Raja of Janpadas. Now what is the meaning of Janpadas? Janpadas means the land where the Jana set its foot and settled down. If you want to learn the definition, learn this one, that Janpadas means the land where the Jana means the people, set its foot and settled down. Now the next is, archaeologists had excavated a number of settlements in this Janpad, as such as Purana Kila in Delhi, Hastinapur near Meerut and Atarangi Kheda near Itaha. So these are some excavated sites which archaeologists found of examples of Janpadas. So simply what does the Janpada mean? That it is a land where the Jana set its foot and settle down. Very easy and the simple definition of Janpadas. And this is a very important term which you are going to heard again and again in different chapters also. Now the found that people lived in huts, kept cattle as well as other animals. How was the life of the people at Janpadas? So usually they lived in huts. They kept cattle and other animals also. They also grew variety of crops like rice, wheat, barley, pulses, sugarcane, sesame and mustard. So what were the crops of that time? Rice, wheat, pulses, barley, sugarcane, sesame and mustard. They made earthen pots. Some of these were grey in color, others were in red. So who made earthen pots? The people of Janpadas made earthen pots, and some of these were grey in color, others were red. One special type of pottery found at these sites is known as painted grey ware. This is a very important kind of pottery. It is usually grey type pottery and it has some painting on it. I am going to show you picture also of that. So let's recall this slide first, that people used to live in huts. They kept cattle as well as other animals. They used to grow variety of crops like rice, wheat, barley, pulses, sugarcane, sesame, mustard, and they used to make some pots also. So you can see the picture of the pots. These pots had painted designs, usually simple lines and geometric pattern. So as I told you, painted grey where these kind of pots known as the painted grey ware. So this is all about Janpadas. Now the second topic of today's session is Mahajanpadas. What is Mahajanpadas? So what happened about 2500 years ago, some Janpadas had become more important than others. Basically you can say some Janpadas become more powerful because they have a very lavish economy, they have a very good trade. The people of those Janpadas were very educated, or they all were very rich. So what happened, because they were very powerful and important, they were known as Mahajanpadas. What they were known as? Mahajanpadas. Sometimes it also happened that 2 or 3 Janpadas together form a Mahajanpadas. So about 2500 years ago, some Janpadas had become more important than others and were known as Mahajanpadas. The area of Mahajanpadas is more than the Janpadas. Most Mahajanpadas had a capital city. Many of these were fortified. Fortified means having walls around that. So, most Mahajanpada had a capital city. This means the huge wall of wood, brick or stone were built around them. What is fortified means? That huge wall of wood, bricks or stone were built around them. And students, and in your book there is a map number 4 in which important Janpadas and Mahajanpadas and cities is there, like Koshala, Hastinapur and Vishali, Vajji and Avanti. There are many, so that we will also discuss during our map activity. And meanwhile you can see that map from your book, chapter Kingdom, Kings and an Early Republic. So, now forts were probably built because people were afraid to attack from other kings and needed protection. Why the cities were fortified? Because the people were afraid of attacks of other kings and even they need a protection. It is also likely that some ruler wanted to show how rich and powerful they were by building really large, tall and impressive walls around their cities. So because they need to show the powerfulness and they need to show how rich they were, so what they were doing, they are making walls around the, or they are making forts, walls around the city. In this way the land and the people living inside the fortified area could be easily controlled by the king, because now the area is restricted. So the king could easily control the king, the king easily control its people and can also show the power. So basically what is the reason of the fortified any city? First, they need protection. Second, they can easily handle their people. And third, they wanted to show how rich they were. Now you can see one picture below. Building such a huge was required great deal of planning. Something, if you want to plan, if you want to draw something huge, you need a planning. Similarly, when you want to construct something huge, you need a planning. Not only planning, you need lot of material, lot of labor, lot of capital. Similarly, thousands if not lakhs of bricks or stone had to be prepared. When you are preparing lot of bricks and everything, it means you are generating the employment for the men, women and children. In this way, the Raja is also generating the employment for the people of its area, for the people, for the men, women and children. If not, the lack of brick or stone had to be prepared. This in turn meant enormous labor provided possibly by thousands of men, women and children. So now the fourth reason of doing 45 of the city, that Raja also generate a lot of employment for the men, women and children. So this was very useful way to give the employment to its people. The new Raja began maintaining armies also. Everybody knows we need army for the protection. Soldiers were paid regular salary and maintained by king throughout the year, and soldiers were paid salary. Some payment were made using the punch marked coin, and these are this is a picture of the punch marked coin. So now you know that time also soldier gets the salary. So, our last topic of this session is taxes. Okay, now as you know that in Mahajanpadas the Rajas were fortified their city, and for that they need bricks, they need labor, they need capital. Now the main question, from where Raja got the capital? Capital means money. And in the starting of the chapter we came to know that during the sacrifice ritual many people are bringing the gift for the Raja, even some other Rajas and some people bringing the gifts for the Raja. Here gift means some coins of gold, silver, but Raja were not depend on that only. He used to uh, create some other sources of capital. So what he had done, he started collecting taxes. Okay, nowadays also our government is collecting taxes, house tax, road tax, water tax, income tax. So similarly Rajas of those time also were collected taxes, but the difference is this: today we are our government is collecting taxes in term of money, but that time the Rajas were collected taxes in the different mode, some in money and some in kind. So let's see how the Rajas were collected the taxes that time. Okay, the first point, as the rulers of the Mahajanpadas were building huge forts, maintaining big armies, they need more resources. What is the need of collecting taxes? Because the Rajas were building huge forts, maintaining big armies, they need more resources. They are depend on occasional gifts brought by people, but later they started collecting regular taxes. Now what is the way to collect taxes? It is very important. Let's see. Taxes on crops. First of all, let's see taxes on agriculture. Taxes on crops were most important. The tax was fixed at 1/6 of what was produced. For example, if you produce anything 600 quintal, then you have to pay 100 quintal to the Raja as bhag or share. Sharing, everybody knows the sharing. So what they have to do? They have to give 1/6 of its total production to the Raja. Who has to give this? This have to give by the agriculture person, the person, those who are doing agriculture work, those who are engaged in agriculture work. Herders and gatherers is also giving taxes, like in form of animals or animal produce or something, like sometime they are giving milk or something. So this is a way to give taxes to Raja that time. Now they were also have taxes on goods on brought and sale, like we are also having taxes on sale. So that time also they were having taxes on brought and sold. Hunters and gatherers also had to provide forest produce to the Raja. So, hunters and gatherers also have to give forest produce to the Raja. So, these were the ways in which in which people has to pay the taxes to the Raja. So, today we had covered 3 topics, and these were first of all Janpadas, second Mahajanpadas, and third is taxes. And now you know how important the taxes are, and Raja need capital, they need resources to build building, to maintain soldier, to maintain army. So, they need taxes in a different way from every section of the people. So, crops, those who are engaged in agriculture work, they are giving 1/6 of its produce. Those who are busy in animal products, they are giving animals to the Raja. Those who are laborer, they are doing one day work for the Raja. In this different way, people are helping to the Raja in maintaining the place. So, this is all about today's 3 topics. In our next session, we are going to finish our chapter. Meanwhile, as I told you, you have to see map number 4 of your book, and in that you have to read or you have to see the important cities of Janpadas and Mahajanpadas. And also we will discuss that map in our map activity. Okay, student? Sai Ram.